Hi, my name is Sabrina Vade, and today I'm going to talk about my progress in making this magazine I named CRAVE. So to begin, as you can see, the rough draft for the cover, the masthead was really spaced out, and it had three headlines with page numbers, which at the end I decided to take out the page numbers because after doing some research, I saw that food magazines didn't have page numbers for their headlines, just for the cover image, because the magazine wants the reader to go through the advertisements and content to get to its real contents, so that way they might get intrigued by another story they see and advertisements. They just don't want the reader to ignore the content in between completely. And as you can see, I added some lines in the quote for my cover magazine for my cover because it adds more structure and it looks more like a magazine cover. However, my magazine challenges conventions because a food magazine doesn't usually have a cover where the cover picture is centered in a box. Normally, the cover picture covers the entire page and there's a lot of headlines. However, since I wanted my magazine to be more minimalistic and modern, and I want the focus to be the food, the picture, uh, I did it this way. It's my way of creating that type of magazine. And in the cover, table of contents article, and even in the advertisements, you can see that there's very little writing interfering with the picture, so the picture is the main focus. As you can see, the masthead Crave, there's a line in C and E which I did to establish the brand and uniqueness, which I took inspiration from National Geographic, where the yellow square is their brand. So my way of doing this is just by putting those lines in the C and E, the first and last letter of a word, which is also seen in the contents. In the contents, you can see that the C and S has those lines establishing the uniqueness and brand of the magazine. Also, you can see that my magazine is very linear in terms that there's lines throughout the whole magazine. It's very consistent. So lines that you saw in the cover has is also seen in the contents and it's also seen in the articles. Uh, I think that the simplicity and the pictures engages the audience because since my audience are those young adults and older adults, these individuals are already cooking, buying their own food, and might even have kids. So the recipes and stories, it's something that these adults are attracted to. Like for example, it's more probable that an adult will be attracted to a tuna tartare than a teenager. So it goes with my audience. And according to Forbes, millennials prefer, like my audience prefers, and seeks a minimalistic lifestyle. So the design of a magazine is just pleasing to look at and very attractive. Since a lot of magazines have contain many advertisements right before the reader gets to the table of contents or in between articles, I decided to illustrate this by putting my advertisement right before the reader gets to the table of contents. So this was the first advertisement I made. However, it didn't fit with my layout and modern minimalistic style I was going for. So since I didn't have pictures for this, I used a lot of shapes as you can see, but it just wasn't what I was looking for. It didn't fit right in my magazine, so I looked for an alternative, which was this. So I created a two-page simple advertisement which challenges conventions because an advertisement usually has a lot of objects, colorful, as the whole picture covers the background and has a lot of um, very a lot of shapes. But this one's very simple and modern and minimalistic, which goes with my entire layout and design. And and in the case the advertisement works because Vosa is a juice and it's a very elegant organic brand. And this is how the brand wants to be illustrated, and this is the way I chose to do it. And since my audience, as I said, they're already cooking, going to supermarkets, and might have kids. So one might take interest in trying this organic juice because they want the healthier option for themselves and their kids. So for the table of contents, I had this one first, but then I didn't use it at all because of the amount of pictures, and it was just had too many pictures. And before I did that, I didn't know how hard food photography was. So which I like um which I fortunately learned to improve a lot and learn how appreciate how important food photography is for mediums where um, food photography is needed. So this one, just because of the amount of pictures, I said no. This one I created afterwards, but the three column didn't work. It had too much writing. It was very overwhelming, and also the pictures didn't fit right. As you can see, like I tried to play around with it, but it just didn't work. There's too much space on one side, and the other one didn't go. And also the guacamole wasn't very pleasing to look at. So then I created this one. Although this one has that modern layout, it didn't work because the layout didn't fit with the cover I was going for. So it was completely out. Although this one also challenged conventions because it's a table contest that you wouldn't see in a magazine. So after that, I made this one. This one is a finalized one. Really like it. It goes with a minimalistic and modern style I was going for. The colors of the page numbers as that I did that because it also adds pop and color to the contents, but it's very modern. It's not something that you will normally see in a magazine, which also challenges convention. Another thing that might challenge convention is that the stories are separated from salty stories to sweet stories. So the left, the first page is salty stories and the second page are sweet stories. And normally a magazine is very diverse, so like the first story can be a sweet recipe and the second story can be a salty recipe, but in here it's not the case. um, and it's very like the white space works and it looks very nice. So for my magazine, for the article I decided to write about Lorena Haynes, which I thought was a perfect opportunity to have a story and a recipe, because a recipe is what many food magazine contains, and I thought it was important to add a recipe. So for the article, I decided to put Lorena Haynes pictures because I thought it was important for the reader to know, to have a face to connect the name to. And I used a two column because I didn't want to put a lot of writing, but it was perfect because I was able to incorporate all of the information I wanted to. For the recipe, I did a very simple layout, which is very common in food magazines, where the pictures on one side and the recipes on the other side. And here I put a plum pie recipe. So for my magazine, I had to rely a lot on application and website, and one application I use is Viseco, which you can see the video right now, which is to edit pictures. And Viseco allowed me to uh, change coloration, exposure, highlights, temperature, sharpness, and so much more. And as you can see the before and after, you can see how editing is so important, and like how it makes it more appealing and more the colors and the contrast, how it makes it nicer and pleasing to look at. And at first I was very bad at this, but I was able to improve this so much. And I have so much appreciation for people who take pictures for food magazines or any medium that requires it, because it's so hard. Another app that I was able to use is a Magic Eraser app, which is to convert pictures into PNG. This app is done through the phone, and I have more control of it because I can use my hand, as you can see, to delete the background. But I also had to seek help from a website, and the website I use is Pixel Editor website. This website has the same purpose. It allows me to convert pictures to PNG, but it's just done through a website. Through I did my entire magazine through Pages, and I learned to use all the elements Pages has to offer, which I did not know at all because before this project, I only saw Pages as a tool to write an essay. And because of this magazine, I was able to develop the skills on how to edit pictures in the app itself, create objects with the shapes it offers, such as the eyes in the advertisements, which I created through the shapes that Pages offered, and learn how easy and how to put the placement of words and pictures in all of that, and the lines that you can see there throughout the whole magazine. I also learned how to improve skills uh, as I said, for photography and designs and layout, and I definitely learned the importance of planning ahead and organization, which I believe I really developed because in terms that uh, I didn't took the time. I took the time given to create the magazine. I didn't leave it to last minute. Another medium that I use is Flipsnack. Flipsnack allows me to put my magazine in a flipbook magazine style, which allow me to see that the crease, as you can see in the middle, doesn't affect the words, and the reader can easily see it. So you can see the contents, you can easily see the words and the letters, as well as in the article, which the placements are nicely put. In the distribution, I will distribute my magazine digitally specifically because of my audience. And according to pewinternet.org, 98% of adults in the ages between 18 to 21 use the internet. 97 of 97% between 30 and 49 also uses the internet, and 87% between 50 and 64 also uses the internet, which covers all my audience, meaning that my audience is and will be comfortable using digital magazine. Apart from that, digital magazine offers many advantages. It costs less because it allows me to distribute my magazine on the website, and I don't have to pay sellers to distribute my magazine. I will be able to distribute my magazine on a global scale without, which helps me market my magazine's image, make it very known, strong, and eventually a successful brand. Digital distribution also offers easier ways to share my magazine on a greater scale in terms that through likes, uh, retweets, email, or sharing. And since my magazine is also a food magazine, it allows me to interact with my audience and know their feedback and understand their likes and dislikes. So for future stories, I know what to put and not to put. And since today's world revolves around technology, digital distribution will allow me to stay up to date and not get left behind. These are my sources. Thank you so much for accompanying me in this journey. I hope you enjoy. I really did. Have a good day.